To me and Mommy.
Here we go.
Welcome, folks. Welcome, folks, to the Trailer Park Show. We are glad to have you guys here with us today. We have our wonderful host, James Slowpokey Ritter.
He left.
I still feel like Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson. It's pretty cool. Except I'm not an alcoholic.
Well, we're going to spend the first 5 minutes here with saying bye to Frank. Debbie's here, Debbie DePaul. She's been active a lot out in Southwest Austin. And the last couple of years, I guess, Frank, you had a kidney transplant, is that right? Liver transplant. Wow. And he had other complications added on to it, I guess, as years went by.
Yep.
Can you tell us something about him? I know he's a Vietnam vet, LAPD.
Well,
Fill us
first,
in.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about Frank. And he did recently pass away. He was born in Santa Barbara, California, of immigrant parents.
Did we mic you up?
They were
Yeah.
legal. Oh, should I put this on?
Yes, please.
Okay. And he was in the U.S. Army. He fought in Vietnam, LAPD. In 2007, we moved to Texas. He retired. And in 2010, he was diagnosed with cirrhosis of unknown origin. And because he was over the age of 60, he wasn't qualified to be on the transplant list. But another year went by, and his doctor petitioned the UT San Antonio transplant team if they would at least see Frank. And because he was so healthy otherwise, they did put him on the list. And he did get his transplant in April of 2012.
That's good.
A year later, do we have the pictures?
We'll have him in just a minute, I think.
Okay.
There we go.
There we are. So in April of this year, 2013, we did an anniversary cruise of Frank's
That's you,
liver
the hat there
transplant.
on the right, huh?
Yeah. And so he's robust and healthy, and we just had a ball. And then in the bottom middle picture, that was Frank towards the end of August of this year. He first became ill in July. He was diagnosed with spindle cell sarcoma, completely unrelated to the liver transplant, and he died 6 weeks later.
On 9/11/2013.
On 9/11/2013. Great guy, great sense of humor.
Yeah, he was always fun. Even sick, he was fun. We would have parties at Cheryl's house. I'll never forget the Christmas party. I guess there's 2 of them. Laura Gaff was there singing. Laura Gaff's been on the show a couple times
Yeah.
on the Christmas singing shows. Real pleasant stuff. And I know y'all were always active in the community out there in the Oak Hill area. Circle C area.
Let me just do 2 quick shout outs. First of all, for Dr. Bob and the staff at Hospice Austin. Frank spent his last 4 weeks at Christopher House right here in East Austin. Fabulous, wonderful, highly recommend it to anybody who needs to use that. And also the Neptune Society, they've been around for decades, and talk about making life easy. When Frank passed, all I had to do was tell the nurse, and then from there on, everything was taken care of. So if you're going to die, that's the way to do it.
And what was his name again? His full name?
Frank Murillo.
Frank Murillo.
Well, I know we'll miss him.
Yeah.
I know it had to be tough on you and all that. It's
Came
been
as a bit of a shock.
yeah.
In April, he's fine.
One
and-
day I know, man, y'all are doing well, and headed for this nice cruise to celebrate it.
Right.
And then next thing you know,
He's gone.
the Facebook is saying y'all are in trouble, and then
Yeah, there was no time.
so I guess I kind of, when y'all were doing that, we all went on about our different ways, I guess. Sorry. Anyway, so long, Frank.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. I
right.
appreciate you coming down to help out with the show.
Thank you. Oh,
All right.
Where did DeVito go?
He's scared of me.
He's-
He doesn't
Do
want
we
to.
know?
He doesn't want to argue with me.
He's,
DeVito left?
Yep, sure did.
it's all good. It's all good.
He
So
didn't. He didn't want to
so-
argue with me.
Victoria Montgomery. Oh, there it is. Open Carry Texas. OpenCarryTexas.org.
Hi, how are you? Like I haven't already said hi to you.
I feel bad because they had a little party for Frank, and about 50 people showed up, he says, but I didn't make it. Wasn't one of my better days, I guess. But
Sounds
I
like he
kinda
was a great
regretted it.
guy. Lots of fun.
he was, he didn't want a funeral. He wanted a party.
Oh, good guy.
So instead of everybody going to his funeral, everybody was supposed to go to his party.
Yeah. Aren't there some cultures that do that? They celebrate it, have like parades.
Yes. There is. They have a big celebration instead of a morning, and it's the best way to do it.
Maybe that was the California side, anyway.
Yeah.
Our mother wanted to have the funeral dirge like in New Orleans, where it starts out real, da, 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 and then it, oh, and the saints, yeah, that's what she wanted to have for her funeral. Yeah, she wanted to have that, the real slow walk, and then the party atmosphere afterwards.
Nice.
All I can say is remember the fun times, because just laugh your butt off at all those funny ones.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
So Victoria, so you're with Texas.
Open carry.
OpenCarryTexas.org.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on. We've had some oh, bless you. Oh my
that me?
god, yeah,
it's
it's the
gorgeous.
trailer park thing. So it's
I
trailer
could
park.
way outdo that.
So you're with Open Carry Texas. And I apologize. I keep on I like saying Texas first because
You're right. No,
it sounds
I understand.
good. It just sounds good. So tell us a little bit about the organization.
Well, basically, this started, I think, in about July of 2013. This really took off. It began with C.J. Grisham, of course, in March of 2013, getting illegally disarmed and arrested and everything else for open carrying his rifle. And later, they came to him and said, "Well, you were walking on the wrong side of the street." Now, that's their excuse that they're using in the trial starting tomorrow. But of course, we've noticed that a lot of people are completely misinformed about open carry and don't even know that it's legal in Texas, the open carry of long rifles. And so we began this nonprofit organization, which is really more about educating people and letting them know that a gun is just a weapon. It's not going to kill you just because you see a rifle on someone walking down the street.
Right.
Oh, you're terrorists. You're
Yeah.
extremists.
So did you have any problems with becoming a 504c at all?
Not really at all. We just submitted the paperwork and we got a little nonprofit organization instruction booklet in the mail, filled everything out and submitted it, and
Nice.
our president had no problem getting it done.
Oh,
I
cool.
wonder why, because we hear that all those other groups had a.
Yeah.
Well,
they were-
because they don't have anything that says Republican, conservative, or
right.
or Tea Party.
Probably didn't know what it was, did he?
Exactly.
Open carry of what?
Exactly. It could have been like a
Pot.
Good.
Yeah.
There you go, pot. There you
Pot.
go.
Well, and the thing is, we have a lot of libertarians actually in our group as well. There's actually been some Wall Street protesters that have Occupy Wall Street protesters that have reached out to our group and become part of our group. So, it's not just angry.
Hold on here a minute. Come on, Mark. You might as well come sit out there now. Where did Gabino go? Okay, stay off my phone.
It's not just angry conservatives. I mean, we have kids, young women, people of all political orientations. It's all about personal freedom regardless of what political party you're on. So,
Any spirited debates about, during the meetings or anything like that about open carry amongst the members? I mean, where people are like, I would imagine with having people from different political views, that you would have some off-the-wall
right.
conversations about
And
that
of
and
course-
how to restrict. I
right.
guess.
The majority of people who are open carry and Second Amendment friendly tend to be of conservative origin. So, of course, they'll come up with some anti-White House, anti-Obama, whatever the case may be, speech. And although we recognize we need to address that in that Obama has hindered the open carry movement a bit and hindered the Second Amendment, we're not here to bash particular politicians. We don't want to make this a partisan thing.
Can I real quick, two things? I know on YouTube I've seen lots of open carry protests statewide. Brownsville,
Right.
which I really like because the Valley is hardcore Democrat. And y'all are young people, and I know there's a lot of younger type people on there.
Yeah.
Is this pretty much the way it is, or?
Well, yeah, it's definitely interesting. You see, like I said, people of all different origins at our rallies. We have,
young women, we have mothers, we have kids, we have old people, we have people in wheelchairs. We have a paraplegic who was arrested, actually.
Yeah, we got film of that later too.
Yeah.
Pretty soon or something.
So it's young people are more and more beginning to realize that we're here to fight for our freedom, and we are the only ones who can do it. We need to secure that freedom for our future generations.
That is good. I noticed there was a lot of, I didn't see a lot of black, y'all got black folks down there?
Oh,
I
definitely.
seen you in Brownsville, they had some Hispanic folks.
We actually, in our at our rally in
Well, that's what they always say, there's all white people.
well, we had a small rally in Waxahachie back in, I want to say, July, and one of our speakers was
We
actually
got one on the trailer park, but you know,
he was
he is down here.
But the guy in Waxahachie who was speaking was actually a black pastor, and he was very spirited and yelling about Obama, which, you know, people were like, what? But it's not a race thing. Again,
Yeah,
it's
Tim
no matter
Hortons.
who you are, you want your freedom.
The reason I like the topic is because it's not about, you know, the actual subject of open carry. It's about the fact that we have something in the Texas Penal Code that says it's legal in the state of Texas to open carry. Well, it doesn't say that, but it is legal in the state of Texas to open carry a long gun. And you know, I was on this radio show today, and we were talking about stand your ground laws and stuff like that. And people were, you know, they're just in shock about what you can't do in the state of
Right.
Texas. And I'm actually shocked that in Texas you cannot open carry a handgun. You know,
Yep.
I'm shocked about that because in most states it's actually legal for you to open carry a handgun. Texas is one of the few states that you cannot open carry a handgun.
Well, a few things to address.
Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
You'll get arrested.
you know, open carry in Ohio and many other states doesn't require a license, and but you have those people who can't afford a concealed carry license who want to open carry so they can let other people know, you know, hey, don't come mess with me. I can defend myself. Don't rob me, you know. But like for
And notice
example,
that she says that looking at me.
oh,
because-
yeah, right, big guy.
Like, hey.
I don't have donuts, those donuts you wanted. But, you know, for me, I took the CHL class, and in January, I was arrested for highway racing in a Mustang, and this was a Class B misdemeanor.
No, not you.
You're going 5 miles over the speed limit, right?
You're
Yeah,
Mustang.
only five,
It was my
only
Mustang,
five.
actually.
His Mustang. But,
One of these days you'll learn, don't let your woman drive your car.
I was in Afghanistan.
Oh, I don't know
in that
what you can
case.
do about it.
But that Class B misdemeanor being on my record, until I finish my probation and everything else and get that removed because it's deferred probation, I can't finish all this paperwork. So I have to pay off all my fines, pay off all this, still pay the $140 application fee in addition to paying for the class, just to get a piece of paper that says you
Congratulations.
can open carry or you can conceal carry.
Right.
Which is totally different because if you have a concealed carry license and you imprint, if you're imprinting and someone can see your pistol, you know, they can say, well, you're brandishing a weapon just because they can see it. So, and you know, open carry is more comfortable for people, and anybody of any size can open carry because, you know, someone like me or smaller may not be able to easily conceal a handgun. We'd need a
Or
pretty
when you
tiny
get older
one.
and fatter,
Just hold it and hide it in that fold.
you know.
Right.
Man, I'm getting attacked from all sides. I don't know.
Now to be what do you
I was
say?
thinking about myself that time, Gabriel. Come on now.
What do you say with the people that are inside the movement who say, well, let's make sure that you know, certain things don't happen. For instance, if you know we're at an event or rally or something like that, we want to make sure that you know there's no accidental discharges or anything like that for anyone that's open carry with a loaded
Right.
rifle. Because also you know some of the gun shows, you've had some accidental discharges in gun shows.
Right.
So what do you guys do to make sure that something like that does not happen?
At our rallies, of course, we're very pro-freedom. We like to give people the choice to do a weapons check, but we normally have straws, and we'll do a chamber clear and put a little straw in that indicates to people, you know, this weapon is unloaded. And, I mean, it's not that we want to just carry around unloaded rifles, though, because then what is it really? It's just a piece of metal. You can't. It's not the weapon that it would be with ammo in it. So to a lot of people, it defeats the whole point of open carrying a weapon when it's not loaded. But of course, a criminal on the street probably doesn't know it's unloaded if they see you carrying a rifle either way. So most people do submit and they say, you know, yeah, fine, whatever. If it makes everybody feel more comfortable, sure, you know, go ahead and flag my rifle so everybody knows I'm not here to accidental discharge my rifle. So
Very cool.
And then what about people walking down the street? Say, for instance, I know there was an incident, there was a case here in Austin not too long ago where a guy was actually taking his rifle from his vehicle to his home, and he lived across the street from an elementary school. And he took that rifle from the vehicle to his home, and they totally locked down the entire school and called in SWAT and everything because someone saw this guy, and he had no idea what was going on. He
Right.
went into his home or went into his vehicle and drove off or whatever. He was gone, and the school was locked down. SWAT surrounded the school. You know, it was just a big mess.
How many thousands of dollars did
Right.
all that cost?
right.
Yeah, so it's, you know, situations like that, you know, what do you,
Well,
you know, what do you tell your members, you know, like what's their procedure, you know?
I mean, what we like to do is, I mean, we walk down the street, we have our rallies. People pass us by. Some of them are curious, some of them are scared, but we like to hand out pamphlets, explain to people this is legal, we're not here as criminals. Most criminals don't show their weapons. They like to hide their weapons because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. And so this is part of the thing we're trying to get people to realize on both sides of the aisle, that just because you see someone with a rifle doesn't mean they're a threat to you. They're merely trying to protect themselves, and you should respect their right to do so.
And how much education are you guys doing while you're outside in the public? I
Oh.
mean, when it comes to, let's say, for example, you guys go to Target.
We-
I remember you mentioned that you've talked to some of the managers that are there, but have you talked to other individuals that have approached you about it or anything?
Definitely, especially us younger generations. I think we offer a more approachable appearance to people who don't know any better,
Right.
and say, "Is that a real rifle?" We have little kids run up to us. "Is that real? You can carry that in public?" And we sit down and, you know, we show them our little brochures, and we have some frequently asked questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? And what law says that's okay? What statute says that's okay? And of course, we also carry pocket constitutions with us as well, because again, this is educating people on freedom. So,
Now, does every member, or that's part of the Open Carry Texas, do they have access to the pamphlets, or do they carry those?
we typically hand them out at all of our rallies to our members to hand out, disperse stickers, pamphlets, whatever we can. And we try to get this out to people. We'll post it on other pages and on Facebook. And like I said, we'll go up to people and initiate conversations. But yeah, all of the members have access, I believe, to the PDFs to where they can download these flyers and print them out and go ahead and distribute them as they want.
Okay. So you are open. I mean, you are out there socially on the social
Yes, definitely.
social networks. Where can they find you? On obviously you have your Facebook. Your website, which is Open Carry Texas.
We have opencarrytexas.org. We're on Facebook with Open Carry Texas. We have Twitter, and trying to keep with the times.
From OpenCarryTexas.org, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get out there because, again, more and more young people are becoming involved, and so we want to utilize that avenue by going to Twitter, Facebook, and whatever the case is.
That's very good.
We've been in the newspaper a few times, Temple Daily Telegram, trying to let people know, hey, those people you saw in the yogurt shop with the rifles, yeah, they weren't a
Good
threat.
guys.
They were taking pictures. I have little girls come up to me wanting to take a picture with me, like, oh, can I take a picture with your rifle? That's so cool. And typically their parents are okay with it and are Second Amendment friendly and want to teach their children about safety regarding weapons and use that as a tool. See those people over there carrying rifles? Well, if you want to be able to do that, you need to learn how to clear a weapon, how to do this, which way to point the barrel.
Right.
So, and again,
Please.
you mentioned safety at the rallies, and what do our members do? We like to have our members, again, we offer this choice, but it's suggested that we carry our rifles on our backs, barrel pointed down, so that it's not pointed at anybody. We don't have it right here in front, so we can have the little Arnold Schwarzenegger pose wherever we go. But if some members want to do that,
Y'all
that
take
should
all
be
the fun out
okay.
of it.
Yeah, right,
You can't do that. It's
right.
discouraged.
The safety question you asked is important because I know y'all are, this is a highly charged political thing, I guess you could say. And you do realize just one accident, even no matter how minor,
Right.
And
That's
people
gonna
go
be-
Piers Morgan on you.
that's gonna be front page news across the country for,
Right.
There's a lot of experience in our group, like whether it's from current or prior military members, law enforcement, or
some of the
just-
worst shots I know are in the Army. Nothing personal, you understand? But,
Hey, he shoots expert.
But,
well, I got one Army friend, we call him Itchy Finger, because I mean,
I ain't gonna ask about that one, but
Right.
yeah, never mind. This guy
this guy's really bad.
he's gotten a lot better in the Army. But it was,
But again, you know, like he said, a lot of our members are military, prior law enforcement, and even some are current active law enforcement and military, like him, he's in the Army. And they use that as a tool to educate their children, get their children involved. Because, you know, a lot of parents, when they go to talk to their kids about guns and politics, their kids are like, oh, really, Dad? I don't want to talk about this. It's so boring. Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber. But so how do you get across to them? And so we have these big rallies. We have live bands perform. We have barbecue. And it's a fun family event. We have games, raffles. We're actually, at the San Antonio event, we're raffling off a shotgun. So we are only selling 500 tickets and $10 a pop. So
What is happening in San Antonio?
in San Antonio, we're having the Line in
oh,
the
we
Sand
can't talk
event.
about money.
at
I
the
am gonna
Alamo?
mention Now.
Okay, yeah, we can't talk about money, but go ahead. What are you guys having in San Antonio?
Acres and all that kind of stuff.
Right, we're going to have, I believe, some local politicians are running for office. They are trying to get out there.
Dan,
Yeah, him.
Lieutenant Governor,
Durst?
Jerry
A
Patterson.
little bit more. Dan,
Jerry Patterson.
Dan Patrick.
Jerry Patterson.
Yeah, right.
When is the event?
The event is October 19th.
He's gonna be there,
at-
right?
Yes, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and this is going to be at the Alamo Plaza at the Alamo. And this all started when a while back we had some members open carrying at the Alamo. We had done it on the Capitol grounds and they wanted to do it at the Alamo. And San Antonio PD literally told us, if we see you open carrying a weapon, we are going to arrest you. And for disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, whatever little charge they want to say because they feel threatened.
Has that been settled? I got an email from Paul Belty. You know, he is the
Right.
attorney for Peaceful Texas Farm Rights. And he said that the chief was not good with it. Is that correct? Or
Last
are we
I
gonna go down there
heard,
and find out?
right, I'm guessing that's what's
see.
really going to happen because again,
arrest
this has
1,000
been
of
kind of a
us.
flip-flop thing where people say, well, I don't like this, you can't do this. And then we show them the law and say, hey, this is okay. And they have a lot of negative backlash from gun owners, Second Amendment friendly people, freedom
What
friendly
exactly
people.
is the law?
Well,
I guess we can't pull that up real quick, the penal code, and
well,
Or
actually,
you
I
can
have-
start. You can start by going in
do you
Penal
have
Code
it in there?
section. It's Penal Code
Yeah,
section
you can-
46.02,
Right.
which basically states that in the state of Texas, you can have a handgun at home, to and from your home, inside your vehicle. If it's a
Right.
premise under your control, your
Castle
place
law.
of business. You can have a handgun in a watercraft. That is a boat. You can have a handgun without a license in a travel trailer, camper trailer,
Right.
truck, camper, motorhome, horse trailer, living quarters.
holy cow, he's got this stuff.
And since it tells you where you can have a handgun without a license, and then when it goes through all that other stuff, it doesn't say anything about a long gun. It says handgun.
Right.
So because it says that, that means that you can open carry a long gun in the state of Texas.
But see, what the thing is that a lot of officers who are against this will
Yeah.
try and get us on is disorderly conduct with a firearm. Now, of course, yeah, you can legally open carry your long rifle, but they can say, oh, well, disorderly conduct because I felt threatened,
What
or
they
whatever
say
the case may
is
be.
they'll
Did we
arrest
introduce
you.
you properly? Mark, right?
Michael.
Michael?
Victoria,
And, yeah, I know, Victoria, but y'all are together, right? Like
Yeah,
married,
Yes.
like?
we're married.
yes.
Okay, well, anyway, so I didn't want to think we weren't introducing our guest properly.
Right. But what we were saying is when the police will hassle you, it's about whether they think you're carrying your rifle in a manner calculated to cause alarm.
Right.
And if they can prove that you are calculating to cause alarm, they'll arrest you for disorderly conduct.
And to give you some history on all this stuff, you go back to like concealed carry. With concealed carry, I had a problem with Texas State Police Department, where they said that you couldn't, with a concealed handgun license, you couldn't have a handgun in your vehicle in the parking lot. They said you couldn't have one on the
Texas
street
State University.
at Texas State.
Yep.
And this was quite a few years ago. And I assured them that in the Texas Penal Code, it says you can have that. Every time, you kind of educate them a little bit on some of the law. There's so many different things. And to be, in defense of the police officers, law enforcement, there's so many different laws, and it's hard for them, to
keep
keep
track
up
of
with,
it all.
with everything.
Right.
So, and I understand that, but you just have to work with them and try to educate them. And it started with that, and then now here we are talking about open carry.
Right.
And now people are confused with open carry.
Well, and one of our top questions is, can I lawfully open carry a firearm in Texas? And the open carry of rifles, shotguns, long guns is unregulated. You can also openly carry an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899 or a replica of an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899.
Good old
That's-
5-shooter.
But only if the replica does not use rim fire or center fire ammunition. So
That's
typically
the
people
old,
carry the cap
guy
and
got
ball
arrested at the Capitol.
with a cap and ball
video of that.
pistol. And the state of Texas does not recognize these as firearms, according to the Penal Code, Chapter 46.01. So again, we have some members who were like, well, let's open carry our black powder pistols. Why not? And they were cap and ball pistols. And we have one member who's a paraplegic veteran, and he keeps his cap and ball pistol pre-1899 on a 550 cord around
Can you
his
play
neck.
that and talk over it? Or do you need
Sure.
to hear the? Can you play that, Maud? We'll talk over it. The arrest at the Capitol. And the other two videos, we're gonna have to hear the audio on, right?
Yeah,
But they're short.
Yeah, they're about a minute and a half each.
right.
So you're gonna have to let her know when you want that played. I don't know if we're gonna get the other one played.
Yeah. Now, some of the things
Anyway.
that they get in trouble about is because people say that they're causing alarm or something like that, right?
They're
Right.
calculated
Well,
to cause alarm.
Here's the thing.
Oh, there we go. There's the video.
Okay, so this is Gary Hayes, a member of OpenCarryTexas.org, and he was rolling around all over the Capitol grounds in his wheelchair with his black powder cap and ball pre-1899 replica, which isn't defined as a firearm. But the officer said, well, it's a deadly weapon, and we recognize this as disorderly conduct. And later we had a discussion with the DPS captain in charge of this whole thing, because this was Capitol DPS that did this arrest. And our president, C.J. Grisham, had the phone call and said, well, this is what the law says. The law does not define a cap and ball pistol as a firearm. And he said, well, I disagree with that. That is literally what the DPS captain said. Not,
Oh, gosh.
So what they're probably going to do is they're going to charge him with having a deadly weapon. They can't charge him with a firearm because technically it's not a firearm.
Right.
So they're going to say it's like if you're walking around the Capitol grounds holding a baseball bat and you were
Right.
doing it in a menacing manner. And that's what they're going to try to do with him. They're going to say having your pistol, whether or not you are threatening anybody, is menacing.
now this is the sickest thing. This guy, Gary,
Yeah, he can't move.
Well,
he's
All
so
right.
sweet. He's got to be 80, 90 pounds. He's the sweetest guy. He rolls around downtown Temple, goes to the police station, and he
Well-
has his AR-15 on him and just
If
rolls
he's-
around.
If he's carrying a deadly weapon or something, then I guess how much discretion do the officers have to decide? What am I trying to say here?
Right.
He's making a judgment call, right? The
Right,
officers making-
exactly.
making
That's
a
what they're
judgment call.
If
saying.
you're
to
threatened by
defend
that, you're not much of a
Yeah,
man,
that's
honestly.
true. Well, I had to bring that up because one of the first films I saw open carry was this guy up in Taylor, or Hutto, is it? Him and his son were out hiking, and the son filmed it all. And then this guy
In
was
Temple,
clearly
C.J.
Temple.
Grisham, our
Yep.
president. That's our president of
It
Open
seemed
Carry
like he was
Texas.
clearly provoking the police officer. And you figure the guy didn't live around there.
Well, actually, if you look at the whole video, the dash cam video, which I've seen and a few of our members have seen, but literally Temple Police has the court has a gag order on the video. He's
Okay.
walking with his son, right? He has
Yeah,
his AR-15
it's-
strapped here.
Oh, what is
It's strapped on his, hanging from his chest. And the officer pulls over, gets out of the car, and says, "What are we doing out here?" And he said, "Oh, well, we're just hiking." And he walks right up to him without saying a word and goes up to his chest and starts trying to detach
Take it
the
out.
weapon. And Mr. Grisham grabs the buttstock of the gun, kind of pulls it back and says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you're not disarming me," because he was legally open carrying a long rifle. And that's when the officer slammed him against the hood of the car, pulled his weapon, put it to his head. His son is 15 years old. He's so mentally traumatized by this, he's blocked it from his memory. And C.J. Grisham is about 5'5". He's a pretty small guy. This officer, Ermis,
And a
about
veteran.
6'5", and
Yeah, he's
about
actually active
200
duty.
and some pounds.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is the officer gets a call from one of the citizens.
Right.
What is he supposed to do?
Well, first off, this actually came into the non-emergency line, so it wasn't 911, there's a guy with a rifle. The call was literally, we heard it played in the courtroom at the pretrial. A woman called the non-emergency Temple Police line and said, yeah, there's a guy walking around with a rifle. Yeah, I thought you should know about that. Wasn't alarmed, wasn't freaking out, so he rode out there to check it out. And I think,
Instead of just asking a few questions, he reacted the way he did.
right.
Well, that was a judgment call on the officer's
Well, here's
part.
the thing.
Is that-
It's like if a cop came up to you while you're in your car and drug you out of the car because you could use that car as a weapon.
Right.
Not that it's never happened before.
Well,
Right.
it has
No,
happened.
no, yeah, I mean,
Right.
I've been a
It's the
guest
same
at
thing.
a
And
Big
if
Hamilton
you're
Big
not-
Camp before.
if you're
Look, let
not-
me tell you, I've been in a rental car in uniform, in the military, active duty, been pulled over on the side of the highway, had the officer get me out of the vehicle, call the rental car company to verify that I rented the vehicle. Okay, while I'm standing right there. I can tell you, they will do some things on the side
Well,
of the road.
and the thing is, he wasn't suspected of a crime at that time. But later, now, recently coming up to the trial, the prosecution has said, well, you were walking down the wrong side of the road. That is the crime they are accusing him of to have legally disarmed him.
Well, I didn't know it was 311. I thought the lady had called at 911. Hey, I get some guy walking down the road. No idea who he
And that's the
is.
thing, it's been so misconstrued, and I think the trial will bring a lot of things to light that people haven't realized, because this has been demonized so much by the
In the
anti-
future.
On the footage, so the only footage you get is this very short snippet, and it seems to be a certain way when they
Oh, you
finally.
mean the dash cam footage?
When they
Right.
finally
It's still up on
release all
YouTube,
of
isn't it? The other
No,
stuff?
No, not the
No,
full.
not the actual
not the
like,
dash
not
cam
full
footage.
one. The full one's been suppressed by the court. They put an order on it saying it's only to be used in the courtroom. So
right, which
the
makes you a little
populace can't
suspicious.
have it, and they know they didn't release it because of that very reason. They don't have a case if everyone sees it.
And another point to make is on the dash cam footage, Officer Ermis is actually, you can hear on the audio of the dash cam, he's lying to his superior about what happened. When, okay, the whole dash cam incident, there was no yelling until he slammed him against the car and started taking off his weapon. That's when the yelling started. He said, whoa, whoa, my back, because Mr. Grisham has a messed up back from Iraq. And you can literally hear him lying to his superior about what happened. And so the whole thing has just really gotten out of hand. And, this isn't a group about C.J. Grisham. That's a particular case, but we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on freedom.
Well, I just
for
brought that
everyone.
one up to try to say
Right.
the officer has to make a decision
Right, and the thing
there
is,
somehow.
well, you said feeling alarmed, and I've heard some people, like Mothers Demand Action, their little Facebook group, saying, well, I have the right to not be scared. I have the right to not be alarmed. Where does it say that
Yeah,
in the
Bobby
Constitution? And I have 2 Great Danes. One's about 170, one's about 130, and I go walking them down my neighborhood. Now, this has alarmed some people. Some people come out of their house, see 2 big dogs, and go back inside.
Have you ever seen some
Should
of
I
those?
be arrested?
Have you ever seen some of those ladies with mom demand action? They alarm me.
Yeah.
A little scared.
But that's
wanna
my
look.
point. Where does that line stop of
Right.
what alarms them? Because everybody's alarmed by different things. I might be alarmed by clowns. Maybe I have a clown phobia. And so what, a clown can't walk around with his costume on
How
because
many
I'm
cities
alarmed?
have y'all done this in?
Oh, we've done this at least 30 different, we have
Here in Texas?
chapters in at least 30 different cities. They hold their own rallies. We'll have great big rallies. We recently had one in
Did we ever go
Fort
with the
Worth.
speakers you're gonna have in San Antonio?
I'd have to look specifically at
Now,
it.
what I do
Okay,
and
that's
what I
fine.
do in my
Got a
and
program for it right now.
what I do in my concealed
Go
handgun
to,
class.
yeah, open carry, and you can find them,
What
right? List of speakers.
It might
what
be
I
in there.
what I do
Or
in my
don'tcomply.com.
what I do in my concealed handgun class is I tell people when you come in contact with law enforcement, you gotta stick to a script, and stick to the routine. Keep your hands visible. Don't make any quick movements or anything like that, and answer the officer. Well, you can or you don't have to answer officers' questions,
Right.
but remember you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. Remember those rights, because too many people have died for you to have those rights. And I always tell them, don't be so eager to give them up. If an officer wants to, separate you from your firearm while they're conducting an investigation, then go ahead and let them do that. I don't try to be confrontational with them or anything like that.
Right.
But remember, you have rights. Remain calm. Keep your hands to your side. Because remember, everything's being recorded, whether
Right.
it's going to be from the dash cam, where it's going to
The
be from
mic.
exactly the street corner or something like that. You know, it's being recorded, and their microphones record crystal clear.
Yep.
So remember that, and just remain calm. And always remain calm.
Well, and of course, we suggest that as well. However, again, we are about freedom of and freedom of choice. So if I have an officer who we're literally
I have a comment for your point about recording clearly and all that. That's if they remember to turn it on.
yeah
You gotta have it on in order for it to be recorded clearly. And most of the times, it's mysteriously, it's not
Whatever it's
on.
Not running.
controversial, it never gets turned on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we were at TCBY, we were
Thanks,
having an
Bobby.
Open Carry Texas board meeting, and we all showed up with our rifles. That's where the little girls wanted to take pictures with me, and we had some friendly conversations with the locals. Was it 2 or 3 Temple police officers arrived, had their weapons drawn behind their backs already as they were approaching us. And, you know, we had our backs up against the restaurant wall. We were standing outside on the patio and said, "Can we see some identification?" And we said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, we're investigating a crime." You know, "What crime is that?" And basically just tried to bully, "Let me see your ID." And we refused because we weren't committing any crimes. Why do we have to
You don't
submit
have
to
to
you?
show ID unless they're in an investigation of an active crime, which means if they come up to you and say, "Show me your ID," you can say, "No, what crime have I committed?" And if they don't have a reasonable, need for you to identify yourself, you do not have to do so.
I'm gonna have to defer to Mike on this one.
If you're, he's,
Cargill?
and they're correct. But if you're a CHO holder and they ask you for any identification, then you have to show them your ID,
CHL card.
right, and your concealed hang-on license.
Right.
I always thought they asked us to go ahead and show it to them, because why ask
Well,
them? You're
most
just gonna
of
get
the
in
time.
trouble sometime.
Right.
Most
Goes
of the
back
time.
to, are you provoking the officer when you do this kind
Right.
of
Well,
thing?
that's the thing, is why, if they're asking me for something I don't have to do. So if they say, "Hey, show me your driver's license," I don't have to show it to them, and I say no,
Well, then
that's
you
not
just escalated it on to the next stage.
Well, that has been proved by the Supreme Court not to be probable cause.
Okay.
If they want to search your car and you say no, that is not probable cause
Right.
for them to search your car. You saying no does not mean that they have the right to do that.
It's-
You're not suspicious for saying no.
It's become
Yeah.
a little convoluted to where people are forgetting that the police serve us. They work for
Yeah.
us. We don't bow down
I
to them.
understand that part, but all I'm saying is it's just not searching your car, it's just asking for ID.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But-
if they're coming up to you with, they already got their pistols drawn behind their back, they're obviously nervous, let's ease them down. Yes, sir, no problem.
Well, I just don't like being treated like that by somebody.
And they literally,
that served me.
That's true. They're not what's
know-
it, centurions?
Yeah, they don't need to pull their weapons on me just
Who
because
are
I
the,
have
who are the
an
guards
ID.
of the emperors in Rome? Centurions, right?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Anyway,
the officers,
Victorians, I think.
Praetorian Guard, yeah, that's it.
the officers chose to eat ice cream and hang out a little bit, and one of them actually insulted one of our members, saying, "You should be ashamed of yourself. You were in the army and you're doing this. You should be ashamed of yourself," and started insulting him, which we were just kind of like, "Oh, all right." There's become such a chasm between the police and the public,
It's
and we
also
really
good
want to break
mentality
that.
for 'em,
Well,
yeah.
we've had many positive interactions with police officers in Fort Worth. Me and my husband walked up to an officer there who shook hands with
Let it go,
us.
Mo.
Yeah, we have several positive interactions.
Yeah, can we play one of them? It's only a short one, right?
There should be one that's about 1:30.
That's the other one.
I don't know how long that one is. The one from Corpus Christi. That one's pretty good. They're
And while
just
she's
talking
pulling that up, how many members are in your organization?
Right now, we have about 7,000 members, and this just started in June, July, so it grew really fast. It's spreading on Facebook. We have about 60,000 hits a week. There we go.
Oh, all right. Turn it up. What did she say?
It looks like I broke it. God bless Texas!
What time was it?
What's that? We
Was
did it
a
from
walk or
10.
something?
The official one was from 10 to about 1.
Uh-huh.
And now we're just out walking, seeing Corpus Christi, because I'm from up in Central Texas. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, now I'm just checking out the beach.
So it was 10 to 1. Did y'all walk? I heard about it, but we had a SWAT call out, and I didn't get to.
Yeah, I heard about that. We had Channel 10 out here saying that they were at a SWAT call, and they missed it too, because they were at that SWAT call.
All right. So was it 10?
It started at 10, and we finished about 1 o'clock.
Did y'all walk? Where did y'all go?
We went down.
We went all the way to the courthouse.
Courthouse. And Whataburger let y'all carry in the.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, you guys have been awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I can get some positive footage because unfortunately we always get this negative footage of police officers that, are trying to harass us, and it's good that you guys have been so professional.
I lived for a short time in Arizona, and it's open carry in Arizona.
Yeah.
But it's not that most of the police departments are against it; it's just not used to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's uncommon, I guess.
Well, but even if they're not used to it, there's a professionalism that should be there, and you guys displayed that. But there are some that aren't displaying that.
Yeah.
And so we really appreciate that.
Hey, well, you'll have a safe trip.
Hey, thanks. Do you mind if we put this on YouTube as a positive encounter?
I don't care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll be careful.
With us, and I mean, I had my rifle standing right next to him. And
So what you were saying was that before you guys do an event, you tell me you actually call the local police department and let them know you're having an event ahead of time.
many times,
Oh,
yes, we
yeah,
do.
90%
We
of
like
the
to let them know, hey, we're going to have an event. If you get calls, this is what's going on. However, I will say at TCBY, I called the non-emergency Temple Police Department line and said, yeah, there's some guys here in the yogurt shop that have rifles. Is that okay? Are they allowed to do that? And she said, yes, ma'am, that's fine. So should officers come? No, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
The
Literally.
only issue we've
so
ever
they've
had
accepted it.
about calling forward is we had a member get arrested in McAllen, Texas. For,
No, not down there.
For having a weapon in his vehicle when he said he was going to go submit a complaint to a police department, and he had his weapon. That's what his complaint was about. They didn't want him to take a picture of him and his weapon in front of the police department. So he's like, all right, well, I'm going to come submit a formal complaint. So he shows up at the police department. His weapon is in his vehicle, perfectly legal. He gets out of his truck, nothing on him except a knife, a normal knife that everybody in Texas carries. And they arrest him.
Don't cross the border with it.
Yeah.
Well,
and so
That's a hard
we
way.
go down there to protest them arresting him for doing nothing wrong. He did nothing illegal at this point. Absolutely nothing wrong according to any law. So we go down there with a few hundred members. It's going to be a big event.
turnout.
Both local and from some people like Central Texas come out. And we called ahead naturally because we don't want them to all be arrested at the same time.
Oh, there
You don't
were
wanna provoke
so
anybody.
many.
They pre-staged a SWAT team at a gas station across the street,
Just in case,
just
huh?
waiting for somebody to do something
Well,
so they could
and-
just roll in
And
and
how
throw
many
us in the
thousands
paddy
of dollars
wagon.
was that?
Yeah.
Right, and in our first event, our Come and Take It Temple to support Grisham in Temple, it was at June 1st, I believe it was. SWAT was out there. There were snipers on the rooftops around where we were going to just be marching armed
About
around the
50
police
bucks an hour.
department. And they were all units were called out. I have a friend who's an officer with Temple Police Department. I used to be a dispatcher for Bell County 911, and he said that even the backup officers that weren't on duty everybody was called in onto shift for that event.
Waste of money and manpower.
Just riding their bicycles around
The
watching.
violent
That's
organizations
the part that
really,
always gets me.
the ones you really have to
Huge
watch
amounts of
out
waste.
for, you have to watch out for those moms demand action. They're the violent ones, let me tell
Now,
you.
if we
Scream.
found that film
Oh,
with
yeah.
Nazis over gun control, that
That's-
was the million. You remember the million
Oh,
mommies
yeah.
back in
That's
the old
a
days?
that's a violent little group there, let me tell you. I had to call
They
911 on
would
them
get
and
so
myself.
upset. I got some other film in there where Alex is over there bullhorning them. And they just demanded that the cops shut him up and all this kind of stuff. It's funny as everything.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite million mommies is
That's
when
too
they're
low.
walking across the road, pushing their baby carriages, holding the hands of their children, and shooting us a finger at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah,
We
they're
have
always
video of it.
screaming,
And they're
stop
just
the
standing
hate.
over there,
Put me
and
up.
they're just shooting a finger and yelling F you and
You mean to tell me-
everything else. And they've got their kids in baby carriages and holding them by the hands and walking down there just having fun with us.
You mean to tell me Mom Demands Action was pushing their babies in carriages and flipping middle fingers?
Shooting the finger and cursing us out.
Woo! I tell you, that's a
Not shocked.
violent little organization there, I'm telling you.
Oh, you should have seen. If I
You
had
probably
Nazis
had
work
plenty
for gun
experience with them,
control-
huh?
If I had Nazis work for gun control, I'd play it.
You got the other one.
No, but if I had Nazis work for gun control,
You
where
got the
Alex
one
Jones
where they're across the
led the
street.
march around the governor's mansion, and those people coming unglued at him, trying to shut him up, and DPS told him he has the right to his free speech just like you.
Sometimes you really gotta love Alex Jones. That was so funny.
Nazis are for gun control.
Right, gun control worked so well in Nazi Germany, right?
Did actually.
Why you talking that, Mom?
Well, speaking about police,
Anyway.
something I'd like to mention again, I was a dispatcher. I took a call once where an elderly lady said, I think there's someone trying to break in my house. She said, I have a shotgun and I'm not afraid to use it. And this was in a highly populated city, Killeen. So our officers were all on duty opposite sides of the city, couldn't respond fast enough. The guy managed to get through the door and she literally shot him while I had her on the phone. And I couldn't tell her, wait for the cops to get there. I told her the officers are on their way, ma'am, but you know, they may not get there fast enough. And when seconds count, you know, the officer may be 15 minutes away. That's the average response time. Now, why we can't rely specifically on police, I would say Castle Rock v. Gonzalez, United States Supreme Court, in which the court ruled that a town and its police department could not be sued for failing to enforce a restraining order, which had led to the murder of a woman's 3 children by her estranged husband. So, you know, the police didn't respond to this, didn't enforce the restraining order, and Warren v. District of Columbia held that police do not have a duty to provide police services to individuals, even if a dispatcher promises help to be on the way, except when the police develop a special duty to particular individuals.
So if they
Because
tell
yeah,
you-
because the Supreme Court has ruled that police departments only have a duty to enforce the laws.
Right.
Not,
I was,
they don't necessarily have to respond to
I
you.
was gonna bring that point up about when you react with the police. The police are the way they are because the liability is so unbelievable nowadays.
Right.
No matter what they do, they're gonna get sued, period. I mean, it's literally become that bad, and so they can no longer use common sense.
So what are you as an organization doing to work with the police departments in education?
Right.
Because obviously, there's rookies out there who, as
Right.
we were kind of talking about earlier, we have rookies that don't know.
Well, we've reached out to several police departments, including McAllen, where one of our members was arrested, and we said, you know,
That must
would
be the
it
video I saw on YouTube.
probably we
That was
have
Brownsville.
we have told them, you know, hey, we'd like to just come in and talk to your officers, and everybody respect each other's point of views, because we don't know where a police officer is coming from. They don't know where we're coming from as calm, law-abiding citizens, you know. So there can be a little tension there, and we don't want that to happen. We want police to see someone with a rifle and say, oh, look, there's somebody with a rifle. Not a reason to pull your gun out and throw them against a car.
Right.
You know, so we show them the law. We have it, the laws quoted in these brochures, and we go to the police departments and say, hey, you know, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you sticking up for the laws and doing your duty. Every time we have an event, if the police kind of patrol the area, we even say, you know, thank you. We appreciate you being here and supporting us. So,
Well, like Mike said before about the case that the guy took his gun out and put it across from a school.
Yeah.
That's they're going to be they're liable. They had to call out the SWAT team.
But technically, he didn't do anything wrong at that point.
No, but the point is, if he had done something wrong, they'd have had the bejesus suit out of him.
well, what if he had pulled a hammer out? Are they going to call
Black
911?
first trauma is the #1 killer in Texas. Is
Yes,
that correct?
That
yes,
is correct.
yes, sir. And I mean, okay, so there's a school across the street from the school. A carpenter is unloading his toolbox
Yeah,
and has a hammer. Are you going to call 911 because he might go to the school and hammer every child to death?
Right.
I mean, yes, a rifle is just a tool, just as a hammer is just a tool. There is no moral value in a weapon.
But he
It's
could
in
be
the
carrying the
holder.
hammer into the school for a lot of reasons.
Exactly.
But I think the point is, it's okay for them if they think something's going on. It's okay to call the police, and then it's the law enforcement's job to actually arrive
Make
on the
the
scene
judgment call.
and say, okay, this person is not doing anything illegal. It's legal what they're doing, and let's move on with our lives and go on from there.
That happened.
Without getting sued.
Correct.
That happened in Galveston. We had some members on the Sea Walk, and there was literally a call to the police department that said there's some guys with rifles walking around, and the dispatchers told them it's legal, and the officer came out anyway, saw it was just some guys demonstrating their right to bear arms, and left without saying a word. So, you know, again, this is officers making that judgment.
Making that decision.
Are these because you have to realize the 2006 FBI study by Anthony Pinizotti reveals that criminals carefully conceal their firearms. Most people who commit crimes do not want attention on them. They're not
You're
out
not
there.
gonna rob
Here's
a
my
corner
rifle on
store
my
with
back.
a shotgun. You're
Hold
gonna
on,
rob
I'm
it
just
with
stuck on this. Y'all go to the beach? Go to Gallatin, Corpus Christi?
We go wherever,
Yeah.
anywhere.
I mean, all these fun places like, you know, you're going to carry them to SeaWorld or Six Flags over Texas?
Well, that, I
That's
think,
private
well,
property,
that's, yeah, and that was something that we actually talked about, which we can probably talk a little bit about in regards to knowing the difference between private property and open property, and that's open, or private property that's open to the public. Because that was something that always intrigued me when it comes to what you guys are doing, and also the response that you have received as being members of Open Carry.
Right. Well, places. We
I'm
are.
always in the fun, he's always in the business.
We're always.
I'm ready to go to the beach.
We're accumulating a list of gun-friendly zones, pro-Second Amendment zones, where when we go to a private place open to the public, let's say HEB, Target, whatever the case may be, we will normally say, hey, you know, we're coming in, is it okay? But if we don't and a security guard approaches us, we explain this is what Texas state law says and what it doesn't say. So this is the law, this is legal to do. And the security guard will then decide between the manager, do we want to let this guy stay in here with his rifle? He's not hurting anybody. Should we let him stay or should we kick him out because he might scare customers? Now they make that choice. Whatever choice it is, whether they want all of us to leave, don't ever want to see a gun in their store again. We respect it because it is private property.
Correct.
If I own a company, I may not want a person with dogs to come in my place. I may not want somebody with rifles to come in my place. That's my decision as a business or somebody that owns private property. So we completely respect that. And with Starbucks, at first it was kind of iffy. Then they came out and said, yes, we're pro Second Amendment. We support. We got an email from the vice president or secretary of the vice president saying that they support Second Amendment laws and they follow whatever the state statutes say. Whatever the legal laws are in that state, that's what they're going to follow and enforce.
Well, we got
Now-
7 minutes left. Do we need to play that other film? Can we talk over it, I guess, or is there something we're supposed to hear?
The other film is just another positive interaction we've had with the police. It's showing that we're not an
We'll
organization.
just keep talking.
Yeah.
We can just talk over it.
Now,
maybe.
what you were talking about as far as where you can have a long gun and where you can't have one, if you stick to the Texas Penal Code, 46.02 talks about handguns.
Right.
Okay? And then when you get to 46.03, it says firearms. And when they're talking about firearms, they're talking about handguns, long guns, rifles, and shotguns. So they're talking all firearms. And they were listed in 46.03 where all weapons are prohibited, period.
Right.
And in that section, that'll tell you where you cannot take a long gun.
Schools, alcoholic beverage outlets with 51% signs and posted firearm-free zones, those are unlawful places. So
much for
right,
the bars.
Right. And so they're talking.
Yeah, that's.
right,
We can go to the beach. We can't go to the bar.
yeah.
Well,
So
alcohol and firearms don't mix.
yeah,
You
We-
bullet to them. I don't know.
there's a Chinese restaurant in Temple called Dynasty where the owner, Tony Huang, I believe is his name, he supports us. He's a member of our group actually and has let us have our meetings there with our rifles. We walk into the restaurant with rifles and nobody gets alarmed. We go to a back room, have our little meeting. Hey, did you see my new rifle? Look at this, check out my new magazine, whatever the case is. And unfortunately, he's gotten some backlash from Temple PD. Temple PD has been going in there and basically kind of threatening them. Well, Texas Department, Texas Alcohol Beverage, whatever, TABC. Well, we can get you in trouble with
No,
them.
they can't. If they could, they would.
Yep.
Right.
It would have already
So
been done.
it's kind of been,
Yeah, if they could, they would. They don't.
yeah, it's been a little.
If you
pushy.
want a place to meet, give me a call. Central Texas Gunworks. You can have your meeting in my place. I have a
Awesome.
huge classroom that can fit 34 people in the classroom type setting. We can get 60 people just sitting in chairs.
Awesome.
So come
And
on
he's
in.
all about community involvement.
And it's free.
One of the things I'd like to.
And no one will intimidate me. I guarantee it.
It's got the smile.
Yeah, nobody intimidates me. But
That is a good idea. He does have a nice facility over there.
a few things I'd like to point out. Only 0.18% of CHL holders are charged with any crime. Now, that could be highway racing or, jaywalking, whatever the case may be. That doesn't
I was
necessarily
an outlaw
mean-
truck driver and went to jail for it and everything.
Taking your firearm in the wrong place.
Right.
It could be anything.
Texas ranks 24th in the firearm homicide rate, deaths per 100,000 people. They're outranked by states that are hostile to gun rights, like D.C., California, Maryland. In Maryland, I had the lovely opportunity to live there for a while my husband was stationed at Fort Meade. And they have something called the retreat law, which is the opposite of the castle law. If someone has broken into your house, you must retreat to the innermost part of your house, declare you have a weapon if you have it, and wait for the officers to show up. You can't just go shoot the intruder like you can with the castle law to defend your property and your life. You just kind of have to huddle in the corner. Oh, please don't hurt me, which it's
You're
ridiculous.
supposed to pee and defecate on yourself.
And we
Maybe that'll
actually, we
scare 'em
actually,
away.
Democrats
we
love
used,
saying that one, don't they?
and we used to have one here in Texas too.
Right.
And it changed
Right.
after September 1st, 2007.
Yeah, Texas leads the country in the number of people killed by hands, fists, and feet. So
Blunt
again,
force
that
trauma.
goes back to the club or hammer. There are 89 guns for every 100 people in the United States. So
I like that part.
yeah, and there were only 699 gun deaths last year in Texas. Now that's accidental
Oh,
and
we got
criminal.
3 minutes.
With a population of over 23 million people, and most of those came from drugs and drug cartels. You know, especially on the border.
Surprise, surprise.
Right?
Oh.
Well, they didn't have legal weapons anyway, right?
Yeah.
So-
No, Obama gave him some.
yeah, that's right.
Fast and Furious. Was that
forget.
Eric Holder?
I mean,
So read some more, quick. What else?
Oh well, you know, well some
Right.
people don't like the law, but open carry is a right. So,
No, we're still going. You got till it says
Oh.
8:30.
all right.
well, you know, open carry. Just to sum it up, Open Carry Texas allows those around us to see that that regular people with guns aren't criminals and aren't a threat. Just
Okay.
because a mom with a stroller has a rifle on her
This
back. doesn't
Saturday
mean
at
she's
the
gonna
Alamo,
go
right?
rob
And you're
someone.
expecting a big crowd?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
And we get
thousands
to talk
of
about
people.
our sponsors, Central Texas Gunworks
Woo!
and First in Media, Be First in Media. And we won't get into our other plugs for Right Click and of course here at Channel Austin. Come on down and you can have your own show too. This is a great place to be. And yeah,
OpenCarryTexas.org.
OpenCarryTexas.org.
those
You
handouts,
can
Miss
you can go on YouTube. They got all this film on YouTube. I thought,
Yeah.
man, everybody out there good.
get one
How
of
come I didn't see no beach scenes?
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't quite made it there yet. You
Yeah.
know, they
That's
closed
like-
down all the
You
beaches,
make
so
it
what are we
like y'all
supposed to
all out
do?
having fun all the time.
We do, and that's the
Hey.
thing. It's a family, fun, friendly thing. We want this
And
to
look,
be an
walking down
educated.
Congress was good.
We want to educate people. We want to educate children, elderly, and like I said, we have someone in a wheelchair who goes to all of our events. So these are very
Are
dedicated
y'all
people.
expecting some legislative attacks coming up in what, 15?
We're
Well,
actually hoping for the opposite. We're trying to push for an open carry pistol bill,
right,
just because concealed carry is not the best way to go about things.
because you can still be arrested for imprinting. So if you're concealed carrying your pistol with your CHL, and you can see the outline of it,
Summertime in Texas too.
you know,
is.
yeah, exactly. So you
When
can
you
be
start to
arrested
get
for
fat
that.
and old, and can't walk like you used to.
Well, just hide it in one of your folds.
Well, just go ahead and
How
go
about
get
that?
get your concealed handgun license and go to Oklahoma because in Oklahoma you can carry openly or concealed with a Texas concealed handgun license.
Is that
you go.
right? But-
That's right.
But what are you gonna do in Oklahoma? I
Reciprocal
mean,
state.
you graduate from OU and you gotta come to Texas to get a job.
That's
Well, there's casinos.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
state granting you the right.
Right.
So, and that shouldn't have to happen. I shouldn't
right,
have to pay that
30
much
seconds,
money.
folks. We'll be back next week.
Woo woo.
We got Zimmerman and Dr. Laura Presley. And
I
it's
need a
pretty
Geiger
good, huh?
counter.
What now?
I need a Geiger counter.
A Geiger counter?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
from her.
right.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Quick.
Yes, sir.
This is Michael Cargill, and OU still sucks.
And when they graduate, they gotta go to Texas to get a job.
All righty, folks. Thank you very much for being here on the Trailer Park Show.
See you next
Yeah,
week.
We'll be back next week.
Gotta win.
Pittsburgh gotta win, yeah.
Nice. Ah, my minor's still.